Sandrone is beating a lot of players in version 6.7 because while she is absolutely a strong character right now, pulling her might actually be the wrong decision for your account. And if you spend your Primogems without thinking about the future of 7.x, you could end up regretting it very quickly. Version 6.7 looks simple on the surface, but once you start looking at the future synergies, roster requirements, and the upcoming nation, the value of these characters changes drastically depending on your account. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly who you should pull and more importantly, who you should skip. Quick disclaimer, if you love a character, pull them always. Meta does not matter if you're not a meta player, but if your goal is stronger teams, easier in-game clears, and smarter account progression, this is what you should do. Let's start with the character almost everyone is talking about, Sandrone. Sandrone is currently a very strong DPS. In fact, if your account is relatively new or you only have 1 or 2 good teams, she is probably the best pull in this entire patch. Because pulling Sandrone gives you an immediate, high-performing carries that can dramatically improve your account. If your roster is small, this is exactly the type of character you want. But here's what a lot of people aren't talking about. Sandrone is almost certainly going to get stronger throughout version 7.x. Hoyoverse is clearly pushing her archetype, and she will almost definitely receive future teammates, new support artifacts designed specifically for her, which means her value is likely to increase over time. There's a very real chance that she becomes one of the strongest DPS characters in the entire game. However, you need to understand that reaching her full potential will probably require additional investments. Expect to pull 1 or even 2 future characters if you want to maximize her team. And there's something else you need to keep in mind. 7.x will almost certainly introduce even stronger DPS characters. So while Sandrone is an excellent pull, you should go into this banner understanding that she may not remain at the top during 7.x. Now let's talk about Citlali, because her value is either incredibly high or incredibly low. There is almost no middle ground. Citlali is currently the best male support in the game. She provides resistance rate, damage bonuses, reliable cryo application, and can even hold thrilling tails, which makes her an amazing support for a lot of specific characters. If you have Mavuika, Citlali becomes one of the highest value pulls you can make. The same goes if you play pyro carries like Gaming or Arlecchino, and she also works extremely well with Skirk. So if you regularly use multiple characters like Mavuika, Arlecchino, Gaming, or Skirk, Citlali is an incredible pull. Honestly, she might be one of the best supports you can get, but if you don't use these characters, or you don't plan to get them in the future, then Citlali becomes a very easy skip because outside of the teams, her value drops significantly. She's extremely powerful, but only for the right account. Now, let's talk about Colombina. This one is very simple. Only pull Columbina if you're planning to invest in lunar teams. That's it, because Columbina is heavily restricted to those archetypes. If you're building Lunar Charge with Flints and Inafa, Lunar Bloom with Nefer and Lauma, or Lunar Crystallade with Zvine and Linnea, then Columbina can be a fantastic investment. But if you're not planning to play one of these archetypes, skip her, because Columbina doesn't really function outside lunar teams. And pulling niche characters without committing to their teams is one of the fastest ways to waste Primogems. So before pulling Columbina, ask yourself one question. Am I actually building a lunar team? If the answer is no, save your Primos. Now, let's talk about Raiden. And unfortunately, I really can't recommend pulling her anymore. Don't get me wrong, Raiden is a good character, but in today's meta her value has dropped significantly. The main reason many players still recommend her is Hyperbloom. The problem is that Hyperbloom itself isn't nearly as dominant as it used to be. And even if you want to play Hyperbloom, Kukishinobu can perform the same roles extremely well. So spending premium pulls on Raiden simply isn't worth it for most accounts, especially with version 7.x right around the corner. Now, before we finish, we need to talk about the special banner, because I think this banner is going to trap a lot of players. This banner exists to make buffed characters available again, but honestly, I do not recommend pulling on it. Most, if not all of these characters are very likely to receive stronger replacements during 7.x, and unlike normal character banners, this banner does not share PT, which means if you pull the wrong character, you could waste a huge amount of Primogems and walk away with very little account improvement. For most players, skipping this banner is the safest decision. And with an entirely new nation coming soon, saving resources has never been more important. So here's a simple recap. If your account lacks strong teams, Sandrone is the best pull in version 6.7. Citlali is amazing if you play Mavuika, Arlecchino, Gaming or Skirk, but otherwise she's an easy skip. Only pull Columbina if you're committing to lunar teams. Skip Raiden, skip the special banner. And remember, version 7.x is coming. New mechanics, new archetypes, and new power creep are all on the horizon. So every pull you make right now should be made with the future in mind.